The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over the training ground as 250 Special Forces operators gathered for their weekly drill. The air buzzed with energy and anticipation, a mix of camaraderie and competition that defined their tight-knit unit. They were not just soldiers, they were a family, forged through countless hours of grueling training and shared experiences that tested their limits. Today, however, the atmosphere felt charged with something different, an undercurrent of tension that hinted at the unexpected. The operators were spread out across the expansive field, some practicing hand-to-hand combat techniques, while others worked in pairs, running drills that required speed and precision. The sound of boots hitting the ground echoed as soldiers shouted commands, their voices filled with determination. Nearby, a group of seasoned veterans engaged in a heated discussion about tactics, their laughter punctuating the seriousness of their work. In one corner of the field stood a woman named Mia, a newcomer to the unit, but already recognized for her exceptional skills. She moved with grace and confidence, practicing her strikes against a padded dummy. Her focus was unwavering as she executed each move with precision. Around her, other operators watched closely, impressed by her technique. While most newcomers struggled to keep up, Mia had quickly proven herself as a formidable force among them. As the drill continued, whispers circulated among the operators about a man named Jack, a soldier known for his rough demeanor and bullying tendencies. He often picked on those he deemed weaker than himself, seeking to assert dominance over anyone who crossed his path. Today, it seemed he had set his sights on Mia. Jack sauntered over, a smirk on his face. The laughter from nearby groups faded into an uneasy silence as he approached her. "Think you can take me in a fight?" he taunted, his tone dripping with arrogance. The other operators exchanged glances, unsure of how this would unfold. Mia paused her practice and met Jack's gaze head-on. There was no fear in her eyes, only determination. The tension thickened as she stood tall, ready to defend herself if necessary. The surrounding operators shifted closer, forming an impromptu circle around the two fighters. It was clear that today's training wasn't just about physical strength. It was about proving oneself when faced with adversity, a test that would reveal not only Mia's skills, but also the true nature of courage in the face of intimidation. As they prepared to confront one another, all eyes were glued to the scene unfolding before them. As the standoff between Mia and Jack intensified, the operators circled around them, eager to witness what would happen next. In the spotlight stood Mia, a newcomer to the Special Forces unit, but one whose reputation had already begun to grow. With shoulder-length hair pulled back into a tight ponytail and a determined look in her eyes, she exuded an air of confidence. Her lean physique was a testament to her dedication to training. She had spent years honing her skills in various martial arts before joining this elite group. Mia was not just any fighter. She had a natural talent for combat, and her quick thinking set her apart from others. Her passion for self-defense sprang from a desire to protect those around her. She recalled her days in the dojo, where she learned that strength came not only from physical power, but from mental resilience as well. Today, that resilience would be tested against Jack. Jack, on the other hand, was known for his brash behavior and hot temper. Standing a few inches taller than Mia, he had broad shoulders that made him appear intimidating to many of his peers. His cut jawline and rugged features only added to his tough guy image. However, beneath that exterior laid a man who feared losing control. Bullying others was his way of masking his own insecurities. Jack picked on those he deemed weaker as a means of asserting dominance within the group. Over time, Jack had made it clear that he enjoyed belittling newcomers or anyone who dared challenge him. His sharp tongue and aggressive attitude often led to confrontations that left others feeling small. He took pride in making himself seem superior while hiding behind the illusion of strength. As tension crackled in the air between Mia and Jack, other operators began murmuring among themselves. They had witnessed Jack's past interactions with weaker members of the unit, and their eyes darted nervously between him and Mia. Some hoped Mia would back down and avoid conflict, while others felt a surge of support for her. Mia stood firm against Jack's taunts, ready to defend herself against his intimidation. She knew this wouldn't be just another drill. It was an opportunity to show everyone, including herself, that inner strength could conquer bravado any day. The moment felt electric as their eyes locked, signaling not just a test of combat skills, but a clash of character. Would Mia rise to this challenge and stand up against the bully? The anticipation grew among their fellow operators as they awaited their showdown. The air grew heavy with anticipation as the operators formed a tight circle around Mia and Jack. Their murmurs filled the space like distant thunder, a mixture of concern, excitement, and curiosity. This was not an ordinary training drill. This was a moment that would be etched into the memory of every soldier present, defining their perceptions of bravery and strength. Jack's smug demeanor only added to the palpable tension. He flexed his muscles as if trying to show off his physique while trying to intimidate Mia further. The operators could see that he thrived off this kind of confrontation, inflating his ego at the expense of those less willing to fight back. Some soldiers stood rigid with unease. They had witnessed Jack exert his dominance in the past, often leaving others in tears. They shared quick glances, bracing themselves for a potential conflict that felt almost inevitable. At the same time, support for Mia simmered beneath the surface as she met Jack's taunts head-on. Whispers of encouragement circulated among some of her fellow operators, females mostly, who saw her as a beacon of empowerment. They had their own stories of being belittled by Jack and understood how important it was for someone to stand up against him. As first-timers often faced ridicule from established members, Mia's resolve resonated with them deeply. The instructors watched on with crossed arms and furrowed brows, knowing that today's events could either strengthen or shatter team dynamics, depending on how this confrontation played out. It wouldn't just be about physical confrontation, but also about proving that a strong mindset and indomitable spirit could overcome bullying behavior. Mia inhaled deeply, centering herself amidst the chaos around her, visualizing each breath fortifying her stance against Jack's bravado. She recalled what she had learned. Combat required both heart and strategy. It was never just brute strength, but also deceiving your opponent into underestimating you. Her adrenaline surged as she mentally prepared, not just for a fight, but also for reclaiming her place among these warriors. As their eyes locked again, the silence fell over the crowd. It felt electric, as if everyone collectively held their breath in anticipation. Would Mia's courage shine through against Jack's intimidation? With every passing moment, the weight of what lay ahead intensified. Shadows elongated with each second, signaling that this confrontation would not settle merely on skill, but also resolve, the willingness to rise up from under the weight of someone's cruelty. All eyes were fixed on them now. It was more than just about fighting. It was about respect and dignity within their ranks. The stage was set for a battle that would resonate throughout their unit long after it concluded. With the crowd holding its breath, the moment of truth arrived. Jack's eyes narrowed as he charged at Mia, his movements aggressive and swift. He aimed a powerful strike toward her face, believing that sheer strength would intimidate her into submission. But Mia remained calm, her focus unwavering despite the sudden rush of adrenaline that raced through her veins. As Jack's fist closed in, Mia executed a quick sidestep, her body moving with a fluid grace honed from years of training. Time seemed to slow as she avoided his punch effortlessly, the onlookers gasping in unison at her agility. Instead of panic, her composure shone through. It was as if she were in a dance rather than a confrontation. Jack stumbled slightly after missing his target, his momentum throwing him off balance. Seizing the opportunity, Mia pivoted smoothly, closing the distance between them. With confidence coursing through her, she launched a counterattack, an elbow aimed directly at Jack's ribs, showcasing her speed and precision. The operators watched in awe. They had never seen anyone stand up to Jack with such skill and decisiveness. The impact echoed across the training ground as Jack grunted in surprise and pain. But he quickly recovered his stance, fuming with anger. "You think you can take me down?" he snarled, clearly frustrated by his failed attempt to overpower her. Mia did not respond with words. Instead, she maintained her poised stance. She knew that actions spoke far louder than bravado. The tension among the operators mounted again as they anticipated what would come next. Would this be another round of blows? In an instant, Jack lunged again with more force than before, throwing a wild punch that seemed reckless in its fury. Mia ducked low, feeling the rush of air as it whooshed past her head. With remarkable timing and focus, she shifted behind him while simultaneously grabbing his arm. The crowd gasped again as they clicked into place. She was about to turn the tide. Using his own force against him, Mia pulled back sharply on his wrist while pushing forward with her body weight. The sound of cracking bones echoed through the field as she expertly broke his wrist in one decisive motion. Jack howled in pain and surprise, collapsing to the ground while clutching his injured arm. Everyone stood frozen for a moment. Shock and disbelief played across their faces before erupting into a mixture of cheers and murmurs of respect for Mia's skillful defense against the bully. She had not only defended herself, but had also proven that true strength came from courage and quick thinking. As she stood tall amidst the chaos, it was clear this confrontation would mark a turning point among these operators, not just for her, but for everyone witnessing this incredible display of bravery and skill. As the crowd absorbed the initial tension between Mia and Jack, most expected a typical showdown where brute strength would dictate the outcome. However, nobody anticipated the unexpected twist that would unfold right before their eyes. When Jack lunged at Mia with unbridled aggression, confidently throwing his punch, it seemed like he was inevitably heading for victory. But amid the frenzy of movement, Mia remained focused and calm, her eyes locked on his every motion. In an instant, as Jack's fist swept through the air toward her face, Mia executed a flawlessly timed sidestep that caught everyone by surprise. It was more than just an evasive maneuver. It showcased her remarkable skill and instinct. Gasps erupted from the operators around them as they witnessed this surprising agility. Instead of backing down or panicking, Mia capitalized on Jack's momentary imbalance. As he staggered forward with his momentum throwing him off balance, Mia quickly launched into action, a graceful pivot that turned her into a whirlwind of calculated aggression. She struck like a coiled spring released, launching her elbow into his ribs, with exacting precision. The sharp noise of impact echoed across the training ground, sending shockwaves through the audience who had begun to believe they were about to witness another bullying victory for Jack. The operators looked on in disbelief. Never had they seen anyone stand up so fearlessly against Jack, especially not someone who had only recently joined their ranks. Some began to cheer while others remained in stunned silence, unsure whether to react to what they were witnessing. Meanwhile, Jack stumbled back, squinting at Mia as anger quickly replaced his initial confidence. But what truly shocked everyone was what happened next. Just as Jack seemed poised to retaliate after his initial blow was countered, Mia seized the moment decisively. As he once again lunged forward, his movements now fueled by frustration rather than strategy, Mia ducked low and adroitly maneuvered behind him. The crowd's collective breath caught in their throats. She was about to launch an unexpected counterattack that none of them could have foreseen. Using a move practiced countless times in training, she expertly grabbed hold of his arm while applying the perfect amount of pressure and leverage. With one swift motion resembling a practiced dance move rather than a street fight confrontation, she yanked backward while pushing forward with her weight. An elegant yet robust execution that culminated in a decisive break of his wrist. The sound drew gasps from all around as Jack fell to the ground in pain and shock. This unexpected play turned Mia from an underdog into a champion instantly. She had transformed what everyone assumed would be a clash of brawn into a stunning showcase of skill and intellect, leaving 250 Special Forces operators reeling from disbelief, but filled with newfound respect for their courageous newcomer. In the charged atmosphere of the training ground, all eyes were glued to Mia as she prepared to deliver a decisive blow. The moment Jack lunged forward, fueled by frustration and aggression, Mia deftly ducked beneath his arm and seamlessly transitioned into a powerful counterattack. The air crackled with tension as the onlookers admired her poise and skill, sensing something remarkable was about to unfold. As she maneuvered behind him, the technique she executed was a culmination of her years of training. With precision and confidence, she grasped Jack's arm just above the elbow, positioning herself perfectly to utilize his own momentum against him. Every detail mattered: the grip of her fingers, the angle at which she held his arm, and the alignment of her own body in relation to his. She drew on her strength while remaining aware of her surroundings, executing each move with the grace of a seasoned martial artist. Gathering every ounce of energy, Mia pulled back sharply on his wrist while simultaneously pushing forward with her hips, creating an explosive force that caught everyone off guard. The technique was known in many martial arts circles as kuzushi, or unbalancing an opponent, making them lose their center. The crowd instinctively leaned forward as they watched this breathtaking display unfold. As Jack's wrist locked at an awkward angle, The sound that followed, a sharp crack, sent shockwaves through the audience. Gasps filled the air. Disbelief and admiration mingled among the ranks of operators who couldn't comprehend how someone labeled a newcomer could so effortlessly assert dominance over a known bully like Jack. The visual impact was striking. Mia's fluid motion was coupled with undeniable strength, highlighting not just raw power, but also finesse and control. It was clear that this wasn't merely brute force. It was a testament to her technical skill, cultivated through discipline and practice. In that precise moment, time seemed to stand still, the monumentous clash between technique and aggression playing out right before them. Jack collapsed to the ground, clutching his injured wrist in shock and pain. For a brief moment, silence enveloped the training field as every operator processed what they had just witnessed, an unexpected victory born from poise and strategy rather than chaotic brawn. Mia stood steady, breathing heavily but resolute, having transformed herself into an embodiment of courage that resonated deeply within her peers. Gasps turned into murmurs of respect as spectators exchanged glances, realizing they were witnesses to something special, a defining moment in which bravery met mastery through skillful execution. Across their ranks, admiration surged for Mia's prowess. She had shown them all not only how to defend oneself, but also how inner strength could triumph over those who sought to intimidate. This singular act reshaped their views on power dynamics within their unit and fostered a newfound respect for resilience against bullying behavior. As the dust settled and the reality of what had just unfolded began to sink in, the training ground was filled with an almost palpable energy. Mia stood tall, still breathing heavily, but radiating determination, while Jack writhed on the ground, his expression contorted in pain and disbelief. The crowd of 250 operators, once tense with anticipation, erupted into a chorus of mixed emotions: shock, admiration, and respect for Mia's remarkable display of skill. Excited whispers spread through the ranks like wildfire as operators replayed the confrontation in their minds. "Did you see that? She turned his own strength against him," one soldier exclaimed, shaking his head in amazement. Another added, "I never thought someone could stand up to Jack like that. He's always been the bully." The crowd's murmurs soon transformed into cheering and applause, acknowledging not just Mia's victory, but her bravery to confront a known aggressor. In the ensuing chaos, several operators stepped forward to support Mia. Some offered her a hand to help bring her back down to the training field, while others clapped her on the back in solidarity. These gestures of support underscored a newfound respect that now flowed through their ranks. They could see how resilient she had been in standing up for herself against Jack's attempts to intimidate, not only proving her fighting skills, but also earning her rightful place among them. As some operators checked on Jack, making sure there was no serious injury beyond his wrist, and providing him with immediate medical attention, others turned their attention back to Mia. Their acceptance included a sense of camaraderie that went beyond mere words. It was a collective acknowledgement that compassion and strength were essential parts of their unit. "Mia, that was incredible. You showed us all how to handle a bully," one operator said, sincerity shining in his eyes. "You didn't just fight back, you fought smart." His words resonated with those around him, further solidifying their consensus about the importance of integrity over brute force. Mia could hardly believe what she was hearing as she basked in this unexpected shower of encouragement. the energy shifted from apprehension to unity. Many had witnessed her journey from being a newcomer to becoming a symbol of resilience against bullying behavior. Throughout the crowd, murmurs of respect transformed into rallying cries for the spirit Mia embodied. A spirit that showed everyone how standing firm against intimidation creates a powerful bond among teammates. She expressed gratitude with a simple nod and smiled toward her fellow operators, but felt overwhelmed by their support. From that moment on, she wasn't just another member of the Special Forces. She had become an integral part of their story, a warrior who proved that inner strength and skill could yield not just personal victory, but collective empowerment against adversity. The atmosphere buzzed with newfound energy as they all recognized that they stood not only as soldiers, but also as advocates for one another in every arena they faced together. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Mia and Jack each reflected on the lessons learned from their intense encounter. For Mia, the experience solidified her understanding of strength and self-respect. She had always known she was capable of defending herself, but this event underscored the importance of believing in her abilities. The cheers and support from her fellow operators reinforced that standing up for oneself is not just about physical prowess, but also about having the courage to confront adversity head-on. Mia realized that true strength comes from within. It's a combination of mental resilience and skill. She understood that by standing firm against intimidation, she not only defended herself, but also inspired others around her to do the same. Many operators had silently endured Jack's bullying, feeling powerless in his presence. Now, Mia's actions served as a beacon for them, a reminder that they didn't have to accept mistreatment. Her victory fostered an atmosphere where walking away from conflict was no longer seen as weakness, but rather as an opportunity for empowerment. For Jack, the confrontation became a harsh lesson in humility. He had built his reputation on fear and aggression, relying on intimidation to assert his dominance over others. But in this encounter with Mia, he discovered that bravado could backfire spectacularly. The pain he felt in his wrist was more than just physical. It was a wake-up call about his behavior and how it impacted those around him. He began to recognize that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in earning respect through integrity and kindness. Jack's defeat made him reconsider his approach to interactions within the unit. As he lay on the ground recovering from both physical pain and emotional shame, he pondered how being a bully had isolated him instead of empowering him. Mia's unexpected triumph illuminated a path forward, one where he could choose to foster camaraderie rather than fear among teammates. The entire episode reverberated throughout the Special Forces unit as well. It sparked discussions about respect and the responsibility each member had toward one another. Operators who had long shied away from addressing issues of bullying realized that they held power in their unity, capable of uplifting one another rather than allowing aggression to thrive unchecked. In this shared experience, both Mia and Jack emerged transformed. Mia as a symbol of resilience, who stood tall against adversity, inspiring others to find their voices. Jack as a competitor who learned that vulnerability can lead to growth and change when faced with introspection. Together, their story became a powerful narrative within the unit, a reminder that courage and respect can reshape not only individual lives, but also strengthen communal bonds against challenges they might face together in future missions. The event that unfolded on the training ground left an indelible mark on the entire Special Forces unit, reshaping their perceptions of strength, courage, and the importance of respect within their ranks. Mia's unexpected triumph over Jack not only showcased her physical prowess, but also highlighted a deeper lesson about standing up against bullying and intimidation. Her actions resonated with many who had quietly endured Jack's aggressive behavior in the past, and they now felt emboldened to speak out and support one another. As the dust settled, conversations among the operators shifted from fear and apprehension to admiration and encouragement. They began to recognize that true strength extends beyond physical ability. It encompasses mental resilience, integrity, and the willingness to confront challenges head-on. This newfound understanding fostered a culture of empowerment within the unit, where members could rely on each other for support rather than succumbing to fear. Mia became a symbol of this shift, a beacon of hope for those who had previously felt silenced by intimidation. Her poise in the face of adversity inspired others to find their voices, creating an environment where standing up for oneself was celebrated rather than punished. Encouraged by her bravery, operators began engaging in open dialogues about respect, teamwork, and how each individual could contribute to a supportive atmosphere. Meanwhile, Jack's experience served as a crucial turning point for him as well. As he grappled with his own shortcomings and reflected on his behavior, he began to understand that real camaraderie is built on mutual respect rather than fear. The pain from his injury was not just physical. It symbolized the fractures in relationships that his bullying had created within the unit. With time, he recognized that embracing vulnerability could lead to genuine connections with his teammates, an invaluable lesson that would ultimately help him grow. The confrontation between Mia and Jack became a powerful narrative embedded in the fabric of their training culture. It highlighted that courage involves not only standing up for oneself, but also supporting others in their struggles against bullies. As they faced challenges together in future missions, this collective resilience would fortify their bonds as soldiers committed to one another's well-being. In essence, Mia's victory transcended a single moment. It redefined what it meant to be strong within this elite group. The operators learned that cultivating an environment founded on respect and encouragement not only enhances performance, but also fosters unity, a critical element for success in any mission they might undertake together. As they moved forward from this pivotal experience, there was no doubt that Mia's act of defiance against bullying would echo throughout their careers as Special Forces operators. They emerged stronger, not just as individuals, but as a cohesive team willing to stand together against adversity while uplifting one another along the way.